Hi everyone. I hope we don't make you fall asleep, and I hope that you all had some first food. So we'll start this session. And before we start the session, I would like to build a little on the thought that Jade sir was sharing before we were in the fireside chat just before. Um, Failing small, pilot, um, one use case. This is something we all try. This is something I think which is not new. Uh, Reduced risk, building small capability model of finding the validity, finding the fit. This is something we all try. This is something I believe all of us have been doing. However, the daunting task comes in when we need to scale. That's where things start becoming challenging. One use case versus scaling it across the organization. That's hard. That's challenging. And let's learn from a team of experts. Piyush, I'll start with you. Help me understand scaling gap. How does a pilot succeed but struggles at scale? How do you go on to identify the risk and the gaps? And what is the mantra that you would recommend to scale and yet be successful?
First, we have to understand that pilot is a pilot which is there in a very controlled scenario and controlled environment. There are specific data, some enthusiastic people who are ready to run that pilot. There is a collaboration in the team. There is a limited number of technologies which we are using and possibly very simple use case. So, but when it comes to reality or the adaptation or implementation, the scenario is completely different. We have to collaborate with n number of departments. We have to understand the different technology stack, what will be the best suitable technology for this use case. Then we also have to understand the willingness of that particular organization, that how much they want to invest to achieve that use case. So it's a combination of n number of things. So that's why, as you mentioned, that normally pilots are successful, and it becomes wow factor for each organization that yes, I have delivered a good use case or a pilot. But when it comes to the real implementation, then actual challenge start. So we have to understand that just based on the successful delivery of a pilot, we should not gauge, or we should not understand in advance that everything will be smooth like butter if we are trying to adopt a real use case. So we have to have a mix of n number of things which I just talked to achieve a real use case. Then the things will be possible. But normally it's difficult, and there are a lot of challenges which we have to overcome when implementing actual use case.
Well said. Jay or Shailesh, if you would like to add, or if not, then we can move on to the next question. I know we. Yeah, please.
One of the things about a pilot is that as you rightly said, the controlled environment, and especially AI, when it comes into the actual enterprise level scale, it encounters stuff like poor data quality, poor organizational structures that can cope with that behavior change that is required for that AI to succeed, that AI agent or that technology to succeed. Those are the two things that have to be looked at when you're trying to move from a pilot to scaling it.
So just give you a simple that what makes scale a success, so that you can understand where the problems are. So the success lies into the word itself, scale. So if you see, S stand for simplify. In a pilot we are doing, this is a simple task, but once we scale, so we are not simplifying what we are doing it for the pilot. So that is where we are having a problem. C stands for the collaboration. So as rightly said, that collaboration happens within a team of small thing, but once it comes a bigger, so there it requires definitely a different aspect. Then A comes for the adoption. So once we are not coming with the right people and right set of adoption that is happening, then definitely you can understand that it's not going to happen. L comes for the leverage. Because while pilot, everyone is happy and coming upfront, But once you are scaling up, you have to see where are the levers that can help you on that part. And E stands for the empowerment. Because until and unless you are not empowering your crowd, you cannot expect any scale up into the organization. So this word itself, if you frame it correctly, this will help you where we are going wrong. So just giving you insight.
Love the acronym. Moving on to the next question. Usually when any new concept comes into the market, it comes from universities. Universities experiment, universities work, research on it for quite some time, and then the product comes out to the industry and then industry uses it. AI is one of those rare products that came out in industry and then found its way back to the universities, to everywhere. And everyone, including the universities, including the concept writers, including the researchers, we were doing backward research wherein, okay, this is what we have now. What is the literature around it? No one had anything. Most of the structures, most of the documents, those big books, they didn't have answers for it. At what point do you actually go on to call an AI experiment a reality, something that's organization-wide, a usage thing? Like, if you would remember from the Roshna's session, she's so Databricks has 80% push for AI usage. Now, at what point do you say, yes, this is what we are calling an organization-wide initiative, and this is our maturity model. This is not where we are stopping. How would you go about it? Jay, if you would like to take this question.
Okay. So let me give you a straight talk, because I recently joined about to complete 1 year back. The day I joined and been asked by the owners that when we are going to implement the AI. So you can understand that why this figure is coming, that 94% of organizations fail to get the AI ROI on the AI part. So that is the fact, because leadership, they want to rush for the AI part that is been coming up, and all the organizations, they are ending up using the LLMs that are available. They want whatever the organization data is there, somebody will ask them and they should give the answer. So that is what is the normal AI that is coming up into this manufacturing sector, and they're really happy, and they told themselves that is the AI. Then I told them that this is not an AI where you are using simply a ChatGPT or simple LLM that is answering you. AI is way beyond that. We have to understand what exactly the technological detailing is required. We have to understand how this AI has evolved, because nobody is ever given a thought that Google is working since how many years. So can you imagine 30 years it is just collecting a data that today AI is just leveraging out. So we have to go a little bit deeper on that part, that exactly what AI should give. And does our organization have such a structured data for almost 20-30 years? Because once you put it up AI layer into your organization, it will ask for a huge data. And then after you start cooking a data, then almost your investment is, because AI is not coming free. It is every day you have to pay something to AI to run. So that is where you have to, your organization should be ready from day one, that at least whatever data is required, AI could able to consume on that part. So definitely universities is going to come up. They are going to give lot many open platforms, experimentations. But as rightly said, we should be very clear with our problem statements, where exactly our problems are, what exactly is a bottleneck for us today, and then put a right tools on that. Don't rush with the AI. So that is my proposal, and I convinced my management that at least our AI will start after 3 years.
Awesome. Shailesh, you look like you need to add.
I will
Please.
try and hit home to the area where a lot of you Tudipians are actually working in, which is delivering code or delivering projects based on implementation of code. A lot of companies have dived or mandated that all developers should use AI. That's there. So it's a broad-based thing. I mean, everyone start using AI. But very few companies have actually really been able to get a team of developers to work together so that their usage of AI builds a context that is for the whole team or for that whole project. That is the hard part of scaling AI when you actually try to implement it. And believe me, I mean, AI has evolved the most in the coding context because it has been built by the coders, right? I mean, it has not been built by manufacturing. It has come from the coding ecosystem. I mean, AI in literature has been there for 50 years. I mean, machine learning was what its old name was, or artificial neural networks was what it was called. But it became a reality now just because the right amount of computing and the right amount of architecture for hosting that computing is now available. I mean, otherwise, I mean, really, it's been there since, I did a project on synthesizing music in 90s. I mean, and that was using neural networks, but we didn't call it AI that time. We used to call it neural networks. So,
in fact, BERT existed. Google's BERT, the now what we call Gemini, it was there since 90s. Finance industry has been using it for a very, very long time.
correct. And there was this game that I somehow can't recollect the name, but a lot of people were using it. I mean, to take pictures of all over the place. I mean, Pokemon or something like that. That was actually apparently a device to collect a lot of data for training models. I mean, so we're not aware of how these tech companies have built this stack and come to this point. But since they have also taken more than 10 years to get there, we should also be very, very deliberate in understanding what use cases we want to implement AI for in whichever organization is aspiring to do that.
Absolutely.
So I want to add a small thing in it. So as sir rightly mentioned that technologies and the buzzwords are already available since so many years, but why now the adoption is increasing? It is increasing because now it is become scalable, and second, it is fit for purpose right now. So anything until it is not becoming fit for purpose, there will be no user of it. But now we can see there are a lot of models are available, a lot of tools, technologies or softwares are available which are AI enabled, and end users or business, we can say anything, they are able to use it, I will say very easily, and just by having little investment out of it, and they are getting a very good return out of it. So things are as a part of revolution. Things started 30-40 years back, the technologies were there, but now the people are able to use that in a very optimal way, and that's why that adoption is there.
True that. True. So now moving on to the topic wherein how do we hit the bullseye? How do we go with the strategy that makes it efficient, that makes the prioritization successful? So maybe Shailesh, I would like to ask you, how do you go on to extract the actual business value from the AI initiative? What do you think should be the strategy of the manufacturers or the leaders of today?
So one of the things that every leader who is trying to implement AI in a particular use case should ask is, are they clear of the problem that they are trying to solve? Is it going to impact somewhere a currency or a dollar amount or a rupee amount or the P&L? If there is an impact to that is going to happen because of that AI initiative, it is a worthy cause and we should invest in it. If it is something that doesn't fit these buckets, then it becomes an experiment which can become a very expensive experiment in the future.
Jay or Piyush, if you would like to add, please.
Yeah.
So AI ROI, we already see the trend that companies are not getting it, but at least 6% companies are getting ROI. So we have to really understand. For example, if whatever we are speaking, our phones are listening. That nowadays it is not a normal thing, and we are happy with it because once we speak, our all social media accounts give us all these ads. Our Instagram give all these ads. So you can understand that how AI is working in our real life use cases. We have to understand what exactly is happening, whether it is a manufacturing site, whether it is our process site or our service area. What exactly similar to that happens? Is it going to help me to ROI? Example, if I give for a supply chain, if I can come to know when I can fulfill orders to my customer by using AI to see what exactly is happening at the shop floor, what is the inventory at the warehouse, and everything is updated on a real time, then definitely AI is going to help me to cut down my delivery commitments to the customer. That is where, but this is not simple. This is the use case I am telling. But to achieve that use case, there's a lot of hard work has to be done, lot of integrations has to be done, because rightly in the morning we are discussing that AI, the coders will be now the orchestrators. So that is why this has come up as the orchestrators. So we have to really look forward that what exactly a use case is, the orchestrations behind it, and then AI will definitely going to give the ROI.
Awesome.
Okay, I will talk from the terms of business directly for answer of this question. First, we have to understand, do we really want a AI solution for this particular use case? Then we have to decide that, okay, only AI can fix my problem. Then we have to understand if after implementing a AI use case, am I getting a proper ROI which I want to achieve? If that is still possible and we are getting a good amount out of it, then we have to think that how long we want to continue with this. If everything is settled down, then we have to implement. But after that, we should also have some KPIs to measure the all aspects of that particular use case or that implementation, because it should not happen that okay, I have implemented, something is become automated or time is getting less utilized to complete that task, but I am not able to measure the things what I am able to achieve out of it. Am I able to enhance my revenue? Am I able to reduce my headcount? Am I able to enhance the complete productivity? So such measurable things should be there. Until and unless it is just a, I will say, buzzword, or it is like my competitor have adopted it, so I also have to adopt it. So this should not be on these terms. There should be clear understanding and understanding of things what we want to achieve.
Wonderful. I think very profound thoughts, and we very vaguely touched upon a topic that I wanted to discuss next, because ROI is not coming or ROI is limited, but then I think that also depends upon the prioritization, the right choosing of the use case. And how do you go on to prioritize a use case? On what area should we use AI in, and what is it that we would probably keep it for tomorrow? Because as AI matures, as usage gets better, what is it that's for today? If you could share something.
Yeah, okay. So each and every company nowadays talking about AI strategy. But AI is not a strategy. AI is enabler to achieve your strategy in your business. So we have to first understand your business, what you want to achieve, what is your strategy in your business, where you want to see yourself after 2 years, 5 years, and what are your main pain areas where you want support from any new technology more. So after understanding that, you have to define the problems, what problems you are facing to understand or achieve that particular point in your business. Once you are understanding that, okay, this is my pain area, then let's move around towards AI or whoever is our provider or in-house team. Let's discuss with them to understand how we can achieve the solution which will help us to achieve our strategy in organization. So it should happen that way.
Okay, I'll do the next question, and I'll talk on this from my personal experience perspective. So in US, you see a lot of these Waymo cars, the self-driving cars. Now the challenge around them is, of course, they are driverless, and sometimes people intentionally try to bump into them. Sometimes people would intentionally not give them way just to see how would it behave. And that brings my next topic, where how do you actually go on platform thinking? How important is standardization? Because when human is involved, we have a rational way of thinking, the years of experience. I believe most people out here, especially the leaders, most of us had 20 plus years of experience. Now, that experience gives you the rationale of thinking, the idea of what it should do, what it should not do. But how do you go about adoption with AI, wherein if there is no standardization? And that's one of the struggles I believe manufacturers today face, because the way industry has worked is very traditional, but then with AI coming in, how do you adopt to that? Shailesh, if you would like to give that.
So there are certain non-negotiables that should be there in the platform part of the AI stack that will be used by any enterprise. things like security, prompt storage, or prompt retrieval, prompt archival, the cost control of that AI model, because very soon, if you have a viral AI usage, then you will have to look at to cost very closely, and what kind of data is getting out of your window to the model. Those are the things that should be tightly controlled. But beyond that, the usage of the AI system at the app layer of the use cases that people want to build on top of this should be democratized, because that's where the innovation will happen in terms of actually solving problems that are important for the business.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Jay, or if you should like.
So, standardization for AI, I will tell you the importance, because in the morning we see that the Voxit AI. So the Voxit AI, we have not named him. Then he prompted that you have not named me, so I will not give you the answer. So
Personal for us, right?
absolutely. So this is the one thing that emotions has also come into the AI. So we should understand. So that type of standardization, that type of algorithms are being programmed into AI, and what data are lying with us in our databases. If that is not structured, we are not having the master data proper into the place, then what it will happen? So currently Sonal is being named as Sonal, we know everyone, but at home she might be named other way. But did we teach that to AI? That is the main question. That happens in the shop floor where I am struggling, that my machine, it have 5 names: my SAP name, my operator name, my supervisor name, my cell leader name, and HOD name. Now, what should I do? How much I teach to AI that this all 5 names are common? So, this is the real practical challenge. That is, the standardization helps. Otherwise, we can implement the tool, but person will ask with 5 different names, and the AI is going to give you 5 different answers. But the question is same. So, we have to really look at the working of the AI and understand. Because that is why everyone is telling that human and AI should work together. Until the time that culture is not going to come, we are not going to standardize our data, we are not going to take help from AI. So that is where is the real problems are coming while we are implementing the AI. So I am struggling to get all these things standardized, and at least I have taken personal target that at least within 1 year I have to put the things into standard format, so that my organization is ready, so that I can implement some AI tools.
Awesome.
Okay, so if we don't want to bang our heads internally in our organization, we should have standardization of the platform which you will develop first, and on top of that platform the different use cases and different things will be delivered. And why we should standardize, I will say, because we should first think that if suppose there is one organization and they have a number of departments, and everyone will start doing their AI journey individually, then they will be having a number of tools and number of technologies and number of people with different tools and technology knowledge who will manage those things, and it will become a big burden for any organization. So what a wise organization should do, they should standardize first the platform, then standardize their stack, that what kind of tools and technologies they want to use. And once the bed is ready, then you give a clear ground to different departments. Okay, now use it and utilize to make possible your use case. So that's why standardization is needed, and administration will also become easy after that.
Absolutely. I totally agree to this. Taking a slightly different turn, and I'll come back to the standardization. No hero becomes a real hero until there is a worthy villain. For Lord Ram, there had to be a Ravan, because until Ravan came in, Lord Ram was just an ordinary human like us. But then the moment he killed Ravan, he achieved the Lord Ram status. What are the real challenges, real roadblocks that we are facing in terms of AI today? I know we spoke about standardization. Maybe lack of standardization is one of those. But then what are the other challenges that the leaders are facing today? And what are the challenges that you see that might come into the future? Like something that's for tomorrow. If you all or anyone would like to take and answer that.
Yeah, I can start. I mean, so as we have heard on the panel, right, the quality of data is one of the challenges. I mean, the quality of internal data. I mean, AI has learned all the external data. All the LLMs are very good at and trained on all the data that is not in your organization boundary. But it has to be exposed to the data which is internal to your boundary through RAG or whatever means. But if that data is not in a good quality, then the output also will be non-deterministic and bad quality. So that data is a big challenge in terms of, that is the one Ravan for adoption of AI, if I would use your analogy. And the other one is the mindset of the people. I mean, everyone has to think of what new problems can be solved using the technology that is available. I mean, so especially the technologies, the engineers, I mean, we have to, one thing that we have done, especially in the coding world, is there are certain problems that we have innately said we will never do these problems because they were just too expensive in the old world of coding, right? Where you had to put people to write that code. Now that that challenge is gone and AI can spin code at will, are there some problems like that you can explore that would give you a lot more bang for the buck? Those are some of the thoughts that engineers should put in, because you kind of basically forgotten those problems, but you have to bring them back and see if they really need to be solved, and they'll give you a lot more value to the business of whatever you're operating there.
Absolutely.
So for me, the Ravana is only the pace technology is changing and the way we are handling this space, because I see a practical challenge in the technology has gone up to that level and our organization is only at that level. Whatever skills I will enhance over the period of time, there is always a delta. So that is where I was not getting any answers that how to take it up and put up the organization at this huge pace that has been never seen since last 2 years, what I'm seeing. So that was never the pace, but that is the biggest thing that we have to look forward as a leader and understand and give, because for many organizations, like, AI is not the only thing that we have to do. We have to run the business. That is the purpose. But with the hype that is going on and with the pressure that AI is putting on all the leaders to implement it, so we are a little bit losing our focus that our main core is the business. That is where we have to be really focused, understand and take it up clear-cut goals, and then leveraging the AI on that part. But definitely matching the speed, still I'm looking for the answers at how to take it up.
Okay, from my point of view, the willingness is the Ravana in this case, because we can see easily nowadays the organization who were the first mover or the early adopters of AI, they are really way beyond as compared to others. So until unless we are not willing and we are not ready by our heart, by our organization culture to adopt AI as a part of, I will say, improved DNA of organization, until unless till that time, this will be the biggest hurdle for any organization. So everyone or the organization should be ready to adopt it quickly, because this is the, I'm not telling just because of this is a trend, but this is the need of an hour right now. If we will not adopt it, we will go behind.
Absolutely. We all need to pace up. Moving towards the last segment of ours, my question to you all is, actually, I'll give you a famous quote. In God we trust and everyone else bring me the data. Now, talking about the data, success or metrics, because unless and until we track the success or we measure the success, it's everything else is just up in the air. How do you measure the AI, or how, at what point do you say that yes, this AI is successful, or this AI initiative is successful, or we are AI first organization? How do you go about that? Jay, if you would like to take that.
Okay. Success of AI depends on the number of initiatives that you are taking. Like example, some AI initiative you have taken on the ROI part, that this should give me the ROI. Some AI initiatives you have taken to improve the safety part. Some AI initiatives you are taking to understand the health of the organization, like the people. So it is not one thing or a thumb rule where you can say that this happens, or my AI, I am having that 100 AI agents are working, or 10 AI agents are working, or for this turnover I am doing. So it depends on like what is your problem statement that is going to solve. For example, the safety use cases, we are putting AI to detect the PP adherence. So we have to understand that this AI model should be having an accuracy model. It should give the true results more than 95%, so that the people can have a trust on that part. So that becomes an important where you are using AI for a trust. Second thing, while I'm giving an example of supply chain, so are you going to measure that are your inventory levels coming down after using the AI? So that becomes another KPI. So in my view, understand your problem, define it properly, and see what is the AI part that has to be done into that, and what are the results comes from that. It is in the measures of the safety improvement or cost improvement or inventory improvement. So that has to be put in a proper perspective, rather than just simply telling that I am having 10 AI tools, or I am having chat GPTs, or so many users are being, or my coders are using doing the vibe coding. Because in my organization I have taught almost 30 plus people who can now develop apps after in this last 9 months of training that what I have given to them. So, but this doesn't mean that they are AI enabled. So we have to look with the specific initiatives for me to see that yes, this is AI enabled, and this is where I'm successful in implementing the AI.
Yeah, I have a very simple metric. I mean, there are always humans interacting with any AI that you have implemented, right? Has the humans' behavior towards that work changed? If that has not changed, I mean, there is AI, but then humans are doing it the same way, old way, then you are not successful. So that change in human behavior is a harder part of adopting AI. So that is something that one should measure when you use any AI.
Okay, I will circle back to my previous answer to make it short and simple. If as an organization I'm able to achieve my strategy with the help of AI, then I will say that my AI adaptation was successful.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect example. Success means different to different people. Let's hope we all utilize AI, and if it would change the society, it would change the way we do things. Certainly, let's find out in the next session how it would move. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.